Okay, let's switch it over. All right, guys. Sorry, microphone check. My cameraman making sure we sound good. Let me know if you can hear me, see me. If you're in the audience, please hit the like button. First thing I want to give a shout out to the Facebook group because I'm streaming there for free, for free, for free. Okay, this is for business owners. Our goal is to get people prepared correctly, not only to start a business, but to help correct the economy. That's why it's called economic development. And what we have been doing for the last couple of weeks is preparing people's mindset, getting that mindset structured in a way that we can take our home values with budgeting and savings. And, we already set up our balance sheet. We already our profit and loss at home. And we branch that into the concept of bringing those same practices into business. We're bridging those practices. Why? Because if your home is not stable, your business is not stable. Also, what we have been bridging is the concept of assets. So I can't wait to get there, but I'm going to slow my roll. Today, we're going to be doing basic concepts of the business plan today. Okay. But before we do that, we're going to get into two PowerPoints. One PowerPoint is going to highlight preparing to win essential skills to master before diving into the market. And when I say market, that's investment market as well as your business market. Again, the same concept that you use to approach the market, analyzing for investments, that's the same approach we've been teaching you to approach your business analyzation. Why is that? Because when you come up with your business plan, you're going to have to set something up that's going to analyze how your business is going to do. And you want to analyze how your competition is working. These are certain factors that's going to be within your business plan. And the reason why I'm highlighting that, because that I see is the major weakness when it comes to business plan and the most important part to secure a business loan without having a lot of assets. When they see you have a well-rounded plan and they see that you have some assets, it'll help you get to that next level. I'm going to make it all make sense. So this is what we're going to talk about, and then we're going to get into part two, where we're going to highlight measuring success and ensuring accountability. Why do I want to talk about that before we do the business plan? We was digging in last week about accountability because we want to win. We want to make sure that we set up a plan that's not only doable but flexible, but then we're also going back to measure how did we reach our goals. And that is the same thing that you use, that same mind frame that you're going to use when you're taking into your business to see if you got to the business goals that you have planned. And then what we do, if we don't get there, we're going to revamp our plan just a little bit, but that's called revisiting the plan. So we got to make sure that we're accountable. Okay. That's the word for this year, for the Black community, for the middle class community, that we're accountable for what we're actually bringing out. Okay. Because again, we want to balance out the market and we want to be innovative leaders in our community so we can approach the government and tell them what we need, how it's going to work, and we come up with innovative plans. Okay, this is economic development for leaders. Okay, so I got a lot to unpack, and then we're going to show you basically a short outline of a business plan. And what I told you, where we're focusing in after this is going to be marketing and also analysis, financial analysis. Okay, because those are the most important parts to a business plan that a financial institution wants to see. All right. So again, if you don't know who I am, my name is Miss Grace, or you could call me Lady Lashley, whatever works for you. So let's start with preparing to win. Preparing to win. All right. Essential skills to master before diving into the market. Let's get this on the screen. I want to say thank you for our viewers who have been coming back and viewing. I'm seeing the numbers going up. Hit the like button. Before we get into this, remember what I always say. We run this like a lecture. This is for high power minds. I'm going to make sure that I slow down, but y'all make sure y'all put it on replay, as well as take notes. Remember, take notes, whatever resonate with you that you feel like you're lacking with what I talk about, that's what you highlight. Okay, so let's go. All right, preparing to win, 5 essential skills to master before diving into market. And we're going to talk about financial literacy, the foundations of success, risk management, protecting your capital, technical and fundamental analysis, Okay, and that's kind of making discernment through the market. Once you get it once in one concept, you're going to be able to take it and apply it to different realms. Let me make it make sense for you guys. Emotional intelligence, we stressed that last week and we're going to do that again because we're dealing with high stakes. We're taking our money and investing in our business. We want to make sure that we're making the right decisions. We're not doing it based on emotions. We have a strategy and we're following it. So remember, our emotional intelligence is what we're going to hit. Continuous learning, adopting an elite mindset. Financial literacy. So the first thing we want to look at is the foundations of success. These are the 4 things I want you to pay attention to. It may be a little repeat from our last 4 sessions, but keep it in your mind. Budgeting and cash flow management, it don't stop. It's all the time. Remember, the money that you make in your business, allocate it back to your business. A profit does not mean take the profit and go out to eat, celebrate, because we didn't even make it there yet. Remember, the way we're running our business as though that we're managers. We're not owners. Because when you act like you're an owner, you're going to take that money and you're going to spend it. But if you're managing somebody else's capital, you're going to be, hey, I'm going to take that and I'm going to do what I need to do correctly. Because as we mentioned, our boss here is the Most High Yah. That's who's running our business, and we're going to make sure that we keep it in alignment with that. So, budget and cash flow management, we kind of went into that the last couple of weeks. I'm not going to beat y'all down. Understanding different assets classes. Again, the reason why I'm talking about this, because when you have a business plan, you want to have some capital. It's not only about having a good credit score or things like that. You know, people always talk about, yeah, buying credit lines, build that up, go show them. Sometimes you'll have an amazing plan and you'll have a few assets set to the side and they'll be like, wait, I can do something with this. Again, I have learned this in real time. I invested in tax lien properties, having the land as asset as I went to secure a loan, and also incorporated those same practices that I got the asset. Now I'm talking about real estate here a little bit, but I know y'all we need to keep it diverse. But when I was able to show the lender that, hey, my process worked. She has some land and we can use it as capital or as assets or something that we can put a lien on. Does that make sense? That's why the final part of this economic development seminar, remember, we're going to go over the introduction to deed investment, foreclosure investment, sheriff sales, and all of the above. Okay, you know what we do, detail, because we're going to have some assets. And y'all don't need to spend a lot. I do like the fact that we have, you know, some way to acquire a lot of money through lenders, but it's kind of hard for people. That's why I'm doing this, so it can be a little bit more easy, at least to structureize yourself and present it. And then you can use some of the skills I teach you to go get some assets, such as land, or keep this in your portfolio. Okay, remember this. Stocks, bonds, real estate, commodities, and more. Each asset class has its own risk and reward profile, but learn their characteristics and how they fit into your diversified portfolio. Maybe an asset for you is buying a print machine for your business because you print out shirts. I know I was giving you some examples like that. Maybe you want to save $100 a month just to put a down payment on this print machine. It's $5,000. You get it, and then you start printing and doing what you need to do, and you pay that bills off. That ends up turning into an asset, and you put it on your tax forms. Okay, does that make sense? So assets can be much different than what I just suggest to you, but you want to diversify your portfolio from having physical assets as well as assets like in the stock market. Yeah, I know I'm talking about gold too. Financial statements, just to highlight foundations of success. These are the 4 things. The next thing is knowing financial statements, learning to read and interpret the balance sheets, income statement, cash flow statements. This will help you analyze the financial health of your company or your competition company. Because you know the people tax returns be out there in public. We always want you to evaluate your competition, see what they're doing good, see what they're doing bad, and you monopolize off of that. That's all part of market analyzation. Okay, that's why it's so important to me. Now, the last concept to the foundations of success is key financial ratios. Familiarize yourself with matrix like price to earning, profit, loss, debt to equity. Be aware of these things and start to keep them in your regular vocabulary because when you're talking to the lender, that's going to help you guys build a better communication because you're going to be speaking finance language. Does that make sense? Helping them build more confidence in you. Okay. Now, another thing we want to hit before we make business plans and stuff like that, we're going to be thinking about risk management, protecting the capital that you have. Protect what you have before you jump out the roof and go make your business or, buy more things that you consider assets. Let's think about it. One thing you need to do is evaluate risk tolerance, which is a risk tolerance assessment. Now, this is going to go to the left too, but let me just read this statement to you. Understanding your comfort level with risk. Are you comfortable with significant fluctuation in your portfolio value, or do you prefer to move conservative? And that's going to guide you on what and how much you invest in. You have to have more than one thing right now to have some type of cash flow. That is the way the elites have made money. So I'm teaching you this because I have studied them for years. And people like the Rothschilds and those type of individuals, they have 7 or 8 incomes with a diverse portfolio. So when you want to say, how do they get there? How do these people get the power? We're talking about it right now. And it started from doing one step at a time. So you want to evaluate your risk tolerance, what you can invest in as far as your business, as far as your personal portfolio, be that real estate. Also, I'm going to go to the left with risk assessment and go right back into those mind mechanics. You want a risk assessment, the environment is too. Not only what trade is going on, what's going on in the political field, how it's going to affect your business, but you want to evaluate the assets and the liabilities that you have around you. You remember, guys, let's take it back to number one. The people you meet, the relationship you have is an asset or a liability, and you need to be doing a risk tolerance assessment because we have to pick and choose who our business partners are, who we move forward in life. We're especially if you're meticulous about your goals. Does that make sense? So diversification. Don't pull all your eggs in one basket. That's why I say at least try to have not two, three hustles. But again, if you learn a little bit about the stock market and you like to invest in, I don't know, uh, some type of clothes. I don't know. Let's say H&M. I'm not a big fan of them, but I'm just saying. You love H&M. Maybe it's good for you to invest in a stock market. You see a good increase in it. You watched it for a year. You look back on a portfolio. Something that you know about. One thing because I'm not in a financial advisor, but when I invest in what I know. So what helped me with my portfolio was investing in healthcare. I knew about healthcare. I knew about gloves. I knew about masks. I knew about MRI machines, how many times they use them in the day. Maybe I could just that'll get a little stock in the company. Does that make sense? So use what your niche is as well. And that's to the young people as well, because y'all have a whole nother realm from us that y'all investing in. I don't even know what is big on y'all. I think, some of young people into cars. So they may be having some part companies that you want to invest in because you know that this particular part is always selling. Somebody really need it. It's a commodity. Does that make sense? Diversify your portfolio. And these are the things that you're going to be bringing into your business plan. You like, huh? Yeah, because they're going to ask you about your assets. You don't just need a little bit of good credit. The assets will help you secure a little bit more financial gain. They may be more comfortable with you when they see that. That's why we're talking about that. So positioning and sizing, determine the appropriate amount of investment in each sector. Again, that's part of your risk tolerance. So this is protecting your capital. This is before we do anything. We have this mindset like, okay, I'm gonna invest, but I ain't doing too much, or I'm gonna get into this business because I like it, but I'm still going to do my risk assessment. Is it worth it? Those type of things. Lastly, stop loss orders. Now, this is going to be something that I'm just throwing out there because this is something that we need to know as business owners, people in manufacturers. What is the way that we can retain our customers? Keep this in mind right now, because as you're doing your market analyzation on your competition, you want to see how they're retaining their customers. Maybe you can pull off a little something to mutate that and make it your own so you can stop loss orders. stop losing customers or one time and start building that rapport. Okay, so implement stop loss orders or implement automated sales, making your orders go by more faster. Again, depending on your industry, because those are the things that your customers start to look for, especially when you have a lot of them. It is just you and the two people you're going to be contracting under you that you're going to put on your business plan. Like, well, I plan in 2 years to have two people that I contract with because one's going to market with me for me and one is going to be my financial advisor. These are the things that need to be in your business plan, and don't think that I'm doing too much, because I think that too much, like I said, allowed me to secure a good loan without having too much. So let's go. And that's what I want y'all guys to be able to do. Now, moving on, technical and fundamental analysis. Now, there are two primary methods to analyzing the potential of investments. This is what I want you to start honing on and get your note paper. Understanding both notebook paper, I do apologize. Understanding both will give you a comprehensive perspective. Two things I need y'all to study before next week, okay? Fundamental analysis and technical analysis. What is it? Because we're going to deep dive next week. And I'm going to show you the intro to a business plan today. So fundamental analysis, what is it? This involves evaluating the intrinsic values of a security, a business, or a sector by examining the factors like the company's financial performance, the industry trends, and overall economic look. I could like to make something, but it may not sell. So I may need to do something a little different to get it to sell. Does that make sense? The next important concept I want you to take, 1 and 2, this is 2, technical analysis. So we did fundamental analysis of the fundamental building blocks and technical. This involves studying historical prices. We got to price right. I love y'all. Everything don't cost $1 million just because you made it. We got to price it right based on our competition because we want to win. Sometimes price and value, a lower price and a higher value to sell, you'll probably be a little bit more richer than your competition. Now, if you have an exclusive product, of course you want to price it correctly because you may be in your own field, but you need to make sure that you have the clientele that will support that, and you need to evaluate the market around. My clients will buy this, but they a little bit broke. Look at what's going on. How can I price it? What type of discounts can I give? So technical analysis is what you need to start now. So price charts and trending values, identifying patterns. Like, okay, this sells in the wintertime. This doesn't sell in the wintertime. Does that make sense? And predicting future price movements. Just listen to what we did. We was like, okay, we don't invest in salt in the summertime. Invest in salt in the wintertime. Does that make sense? All right. That's what I'm talking about. Emotional intelligence. While you're investing, this is what you need to know. Keeping your cool under pressure. Recognizing and management emotions. Be aware of how your emotions are influencing your investment decisions, your business decisions, and your purchasing and selling decisions. Avoiding making impulses with trading, with buying and selling, changing your prices, or anything without evaluating it first. That's what I say. Sometimes you gotta give yourself 5 seconds. Like, wait, don't respond yet. It's not easy at first, but after the first 2, 3 times, it'll get easier. So this is something how we practice emotional intelligence in our business, in our investment sector. Because if you see that stock going down real quick because Trump said something, and then next day it go back up and it go double, So you kind of want to take your time. Patience and discipline. Stick to your investment strategy and avoid chasing short-term goals. I just gave you goals and gains. I just gave you an example. Practice is a virtue in the market, and patience is too. Okay, so you practice and patience, the 2 P's. Okay, that's how we're gonna be pushing power. All right, let's go. Learn from mistakes. Don't be upset. Especially if you invest in something new, just put a little bit in there just in case the risk is higher than because you're not really educated in that field and you feel like, oh, this is something that's popular, maybe I can get in. Start a little bit. So if you do lose, you won't be so heartbroken. But again, you got to remember, every situation is a learning experience. I promise you, you'll learn not to never do it again or to do it. Yeah, that's how it works. Don't beat yourself up, especially if it's your first or second business. Even if it's your second and you're in a new industry. Y'all know what it is. It's not easy. You just got to keep pushing and striving. Now, continuous learning, that's the pushing and striving part, adapting to the ever-changing landscape. Just because you are really good in your craft, your stuff is nice, you know a lot about what's going on in your market, that doesn't mean the market is not changing and more innovative techniques is coming on, or other people in your market is just finding ways to do things better. You want to keep your eye on that. So continue learning, stay informed. Follow news, financial news, market news, stay up to date. Okay. Seek mentorship. Go to continue education. Again, not again, but I think I have mentioned this to you guys. I'm located on Eventbrite as well. We have a beautiful page. We have a lot of on-demand learning seminars for you for free, for free, for free. And I think you guys should go there. So these are one of the platforms where you can not only possibly gain mentorship, but free education. I want you guys to go to Small Business Administration. They sign up with them. They give you free mentorship, things like that. There's a lot. We gave you a lot of suggestions, I think, in week 2. Now, embracing new technology. That's for me, the people who are 40 and above, my people. Embracing new technology, exploring new tools and techniques that can help you analyze data, automate your business or trade or whatever you're investing in, and improve your decision making. Again, I like Chat GPT, but don't make it your go-to or your brain. You use it as a Google, and you make sure you build on it, and you keep on, learning and reading. So that's one of the technology improvements that I'm just throwing out there. But again, it's a lot of on-demand seminar. That's technology without going to Chat GPT. Just like I told you, Eventbrite, Small Business Administration. They give you access to on-demand seminars. And once you're in there, you get hooked up. You maybe take a college class or two. Never know. Never know. Also, you'll find out about financial help because they'll give you information about lenders, and that's what we're going to be getting into next week too as well. So again, let's get into this, adopting a elite mindset. Why I say again, because that's all we've been talking about. Mindset, mindset, mindset. Y'all know I'm from the tribe of Levi, and I have to say, one thing I have learned from my grandma is education is the most important thing because they can't take it from you. You can learn it here today and go anywhere in the world and apply it. Okay? So elite mindset starts from there because we are experts in something, but we're not an expert in everything. That's why I love to learn. Okay, here we go. So beyond these tangible skills, cultivating an elite mindset is paramount. Set your goals, make them clear. Define your investment goals, your business goal for the next 3 to 6 months. We just starting easy, okay? Take a note because this is going to get into our business plan. Take responsibility. Take responsibility. I want to get this done today, tomorrow. If it was concepts that I have said that have made you think of something, I've told you guys, just email yourself the topic and text it and go visit it when you have time. And you're like, oh yeah, I was thinking about this, because if you don't do it right now, write it down, you may not remember. So this is how I kind of set up my business plan as I was learning years ago. I'll just literally, okay, what's my objective? And I'll be driving and it come to me. And I'll be, okay, let me get to this. I'm about to text this real quick. And about 2, 3 weeks after thinking of each concept, I have 7 emails that literally put my first 3 sections together for my business plan. But then you're coming at it at a second time. So you're critiquing it, you're making it make more sense, and you're doing research. Let's do this. This is how I got through nursing school, guys. No way. When there's a lot of information, a lot to do, you got to break it up in sections. And that's the same way with your business practice. Break it up in section, approach it step by step. And that's what you do with learning as well. Maintain long-term perspectives. I say 3 to 6 months. Right now, we all riding the wave. So 3 to 6 months. You know how it is financially right now. So focus on long-term growth rather than short-term, but 6 months, that's our long-term. Stay disciplined, especially for the first year or 2 of your business. It may seem like you're not even making steps. It may seem like you just maybe took a step forward and a step back, but if you keep moving persistently, when you look back in that year, you're not going to be the same place where you were before. Does that make sense? Embrace challenges, view market vitality and options to learn how to grow. Because the market is never going to be perfect. A situation is never going to be perfect for you. If you wait, like I have to wait to do this to get this or do this, you're going to be stuck. So never make your plans based on another plan. Just kind of like, see if you can move forward in an equitable way. So conclusion, one of the first things I want to highlight, just like we highlighted again with this, is with budget and savings, is save first before you pay your bills. Put your 20% up, 10%, then pay those bills, because if you don't do it like that, you're never going to save. It's so hard to save, especially where we at. So prioritize that. Invest in yourself first. Invest in the market can be rewarding experience, but it's crucial to approach it with the right skills and mindset. By mastering financial literacy, risk management, and adding analyzation techniques that we're talking about, emotional intelligence, and continued education, you'll significantly increase your chances to success and protecting your hard-earned capital and investment. Remember, the best investment you can make is in yourself, in your business, in your family. Equip yourself with the knowledge and skills needed to navigate the market that you are in to reach your goals. All right. Now, that was the first PowerPoint. We're moving and grooving, guys. You know how it is. We're moving and grooving. So if there's anything that you missed, please hit it replay. Thank you guys for being here. I can see you in the audience. Please hit the like button. I appreciate you. Now we're going to be moving into our next PowerPoint, where we're going to be getting into measuring success and then ensuring accountability. It's a short five PowerPoint presentation, and then we're going to be talking the rest through, because that's where the real lecture comes. We're 30 minutes into the broadcast. We got 30 more minutes. We're making our way. I appreciate you guys for being here again. I would love for you guys to show up in person, come down in real time, because human connections is what we're missing right now in society, and we got to bridge the gap. Once we get together and conjugate, we're going to bring up them good vibes. We're going to start, cross referencing information and businesses, and it's just so beautiful. Online is one thing, but people, when you're in front of someone and that human connection is another. I have learned that because me working as a nurse for so many years overnight, I found that it was a little hard for me to make connections online. Some you can, and you can, some you beautiful relationships. Shout out to my favorite fave. But then some you can't. You have to be outside. You have to be part of it. You got to throw events and things like that that we talked about. Conjugate together, fulfilling what God's fulfillment is, and that's us in unity. Okay, let's go. I got to. Now, measuring success and ensuring accountability, the key to organizational growth is measuring success. We're getting you ready to see this business plan outline, because you got to go back and do all of this and make sure that you have this in the back of your mind as you're making it and reevaluating it. Measuring success, financial performance, community satisfaction or customer satisfaction, community engagement or customer engagement, market sharing with the community. How can I get my community involved in what I'm selling? How can I connect with them? Ensuring leadership and accountability. Yes, because I think that's something that we really need in a Black community. Yeah, I know I'm going to tell it. My name is Miss Grace. Okay, let's go. Ensuring accountability, the process of holding individuals and teams within the organization responsible for their actions and performance. It helps to create a culture of ownership, transparency, and trust, where everyone is accountable for achieving the organizational goals and objectives. And that's not just a statement, because if everyone is not accountable for their part, that means that if you have an assembly line to get your product done, it's going to be inefficient. It's not going to make it to the end of that assembly line being up to par. Everyone has to take ownership, and that is done by one, appreciating the people that work around you, picking people who have good skills and they know what they're doing, so you don't have to babysit them. And that's why you pick people based on if they're about asset or liability to you. Does that make sense? Because a lawyer may be an asset or a liability. You want to do some research. I'm just throwing one thing out there to you. A partner may be an asset or it can be a liability because they're never accountable for what they supposed to do in the business. And now everything fall on you. Does that make sense? We're starting this now, before we even got the business plan together. Okay, establishing clear expectations. Whoever you're working with, you have somebody contracting for you. You make videos, they're editing it. You have your outline because even if you have somebody making for instance, my baby girl, she does graphic design and she make logos. And sometimes it gets very frustrating when the people don't have a full idea of what they're doing and they don't articulate it right and put it down step by step. And it's a lot of back and forth, time consuming when you could have had a perfect product because you was able to establish clear expectations. Does that make sense within that partnership? Whatever transactions, that's with everything. Does that make sense? Let's go. So with establishing clear expectations, I want you to remember this. Smart. Be smart. Goals should be specified, whatever you tell them, exactly what you want them to do, measurable. I need it done by this time. If I'm getting you to make this for me, I need it done by this time because it got to be shipped out. Achievable, realistically, like I need 5,000 shirts by this time. That's not realistic. That's what we have to think about. Relevance, relevance, depending on what it is, okay, and time bound. Make sure that what you're doing is relevance, mean that you need to do it right now. That's prioritizing. So be smart. And that's when you're part of establishing clear expectations. So that's the smart approach again. Specified, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Have a time frame when you want it done. Ensure leaderships are accountable. Regular performance review. Hey, how's it coming along? What's going on? You don't want to harass nobody, but this is how you're supposed to do. Regular performance review, providing an opportunity to assess an individual or team progress or towards the goal. And at that time, it'll help you identify the areas for improvement before the project is done. And even if you are creative, you can hit that person like, am I on the right direction? If you have any questions, communication is the key. And that is regular performance review, and that'll save us some time, okay? Hold people accountable. That's the most important part. I keep stressing it. We're on 5, and now we're going to be getting to our seminar where I'm just going to talk it like a lecture, okay? I'm treating y'all, I told y'all I treat y'all like nursing students. This is how I used to get it in nursing class. You know this. You know it. I'm about to just talk for 3 hours, okay? Listen. Okay, let's go. Let's get to the end of this PowerPoint. Ensuring leadership and accountability, reward and recognition. Someone do something for you amazing, the product came out, give them a little tip, reward them, build that great relationship with them. These are some of the foundations of maybe, increasing that asset that you have. You have a great relationship. They're like, wow, this customer gives me tips and we have a great flow. They give me the information I need, on time to get things done. So remember, reward and recognition, giving discounts, things like that is very important. Start to get that ready because why are we thinking about that now? Because when you're doing your financial projections, the loan officer is going to ask you how much your product is, how much is the overhead cost versus how much you're going to invest versus how much you're going to sell it. Then how you going to promote? Because in your marketing promotion, you're going to be like, hey, in the wintertime, I get 10% off. That's taking off of your overhead. Because maybe in the summertime you didn't get 10% off and you was able to make $9,000 in 1 month. But now you may have something that adjusts with the discount. You may make 8,000, or you may make 10 because more people are going to buy it. But that's what you put in your statement in these forms that I'm going to show you. Financial forms that you're going to be putting in your business plan right now because they want to see what you're going to do in 6 months with your business plan. They do. They love it. They love it. All right. So I hope you guys are getting a good understanding. If I said anything that was too fast, press replay. Okay. I'll slow down. All right. So Miss Lecture Lady Lashley is ready. Okay. No more PowerPoint. We're just going to talk about this last section. I'm doing good. Beyond the idea, architect. Oh, hold on 1 second, guys. I got one more thing to pull up before we do that. Let's pull up the example, these key areas that's on the business plan. Now you may not be able to see it. I think in the group because it look a little bit bright, but if y'all need it, I'll put it in the description, a copy. Why did it do that? Can y'all see? Okay. This is the section that I want y'all to pay attention to right now. These are the key sections that I'm going to be mentioning through the next couple of weeks. And a lot of this is going to be you guys doing it on your own. I'm going to be focusing on marketing strategies and financial documents and financial pro forma financial analysis. I'm going to hit the hard part. That's fun for me. So right here on the board, what you're going to see is these are the key areas just to get, just like to start your business plan. So you need an executive summary that provides a general overview of the plan, the main points. The table of content is going to, that table of content is annoying, y'all. Don't put no numbers on it. Just name the sections, okay? Yes, this is in your business plan, the table of contents, brief background and history, who you are, what is kind of like your future plans, in a little synopsis, but they want to know who you are and how that actually goes into your industry. They love to hear that. Business goals and objectives, because now you're like, hey, this is my history, this is who I am, and this is why I love this. And now this is my business goal, and this is some objective, and this is literally 2 paragraphs, no more than 3. But they're all in different sections, different pages. Description of your product and services. That's going to be a well-rounded 5-paragraph document. Okay, guys? 5 paragraphs. If you know APA, use APA style. Yes, that's what they're looking for. So the description of your product and services, you're going to have to come up with that. Services too, while you're talking about that, you're going to start to introduce how you're going to get your services out, because that's going to introduce them to your marketing strategy section. Like, hey, I'm like me, I sell stuff online. All of my stuff is on demand. So that's kind of part of me giving a description about my product and services. Then my baby going through it back there. Market description. Let's get into the next part. Competition, assessment. That's going to be a part that we get into. I told you ain't no joke. You need to know what your competition is doing. Competition don't mean bad. We in a marathon. We all trying to make it. Maybe this person got some good shoes you need to use. And they're like, hey, because you're not going to perform like them. They're not going to perform like you. And it doesn't mean that it's better or worse. Maybe you servicing a crowd that they just can't touch because you're from that area. Does that make sense? Look at what your competition doing. We're going to get into that. Market strategies. This is another section that you're going to highlight. We're going to get into that. Manufacturing plan. How I'm getting my product out. How do I make it? How do I go about making it? How long does it take? How long does it take to distribute? Next section, pro forma financial analysis. Woo, sounds fun. We're going to be doing that next 2 weeks. But it's not as bad because we already went over there. We talked about assets versus liability, profit loss statement, income. What is your income stream statement? Making sure that you have your bank statements together and the other ones that we're going to talk about. Lastly, not lastly, but in this, we're going to get into what's your contingency plan. Okay, they want to know what's going to happen if all of this don't work out. What are we going to do? Always have that in mind too. Okay, we're going to talk about that on a personal note when I do a live to talk about how to handle business loans and restructuring your plan when it comes to lending, possibly getting more money and things like that. Okay, so okay, let's get to it. Hold on 1 second. Oh, I got 20 seconds. Thank you for being here with me, guys. Okay, now let's get to it. Beyond the idea, architecting success with business organization management. This is another section that I want y'all to highlight. Everything that I had put up there I should have kept it up there, was basically this is going to be in your table of contents. All of these sections, and I'll put them at the bottom of the description. So you may add more to your table of content because this right here is business organization and management, and that's the structure. And I didn't put that there, but that falls under, I think, your manufacturing plan. But you can use some of these topics interchangeably because your market is different. Does that make sense? All right. So organization, because you may don't need a whole organization management style, but we want them to know that you're planning to have an organization, building and hiring more people. All right. So let's get to it. Every great business starts with an idea, a spark of innovation, a solution to a problem, a passion to a project. But an idea, don't matter how brilliant, it remains that it's just an idea until these two pillars come together, organization and management. These are just fancy corporate terms that are the fundamental blueprint for operational engines for a successful business. It's just terms, so don't be afraid of it, but you want to know so you can get focused. Okay, so if you are aspiring entrepreneur, small business owner looking to scale your business, these are going to be some simple concepts for you. Part one, business organization, the blueprint of the structure. These are some concepts I want you to keep in mind. Thinking of a business organization as the skeleton of your enterprise. It defines the structure, it clarifies relationships amongst parties and ensures that everyone knows their place and purpose. Without it, you have a chaotic pile of limbs. Especially, I'm telling you, when you start without a business plan, it's just like, oh my God, where are we? All right. What is it? What is a business organization blueprint structure? Key elements that I want you guys to consider when defining them is defining your goals. So to get the structure together, you want to one, define your vision and your goal. And that was one of the part of your executive summary, business and goal objectives. These are some of the things you're going to be addressing. Identify key functions, breaking down your business into essential activities, sales, market operation, finance, customer service, product development, sales, marketing, operation, finance, customer service, product development. These are key topics that you need for your business plan. I said it twice, so that means it's going to be on the test. The test is your actual successful business plan. So take notes of that, and then you go in and you fill each one of those topics that I taught you about, just with what you know and how you want to get started. Group activities. All right, this is a blueprint for structure your organization. So you want to know what activities you're going to need to get to point A to point B, who's going to be involved. If you need to create departments later on, who's going to be doing that? Not who, but what type of person is going to be doing that. My industry, I need to consult a lawyer. I need to consult a real estate person. Do I have people who I work with? Yes. Is they in my business plan? Yes. Will they be contacting them people? No. But they see I already got contacts. They see that I'm moving and grooving legally. I have somebody support me. Again, same thing with you. You're gonna be like, hey, I got 3, 4, 5 manufacturers just in case something happened. I fall on this one transport this way, this way. And this is how it can affect my marketing and sales. It sounds like a lot, but it's not because you're gonna have everything structured. When you reanalyze, you're just gonna fix it. Okay, so we define the roles and responsibility. We establish reporting lanes and making sure everyone is in good communication. Developing community I do apologize, developing communication channels. If you have people, more than one person working for you, I had a gentleman that market for me. We'll talk once a month about what the marketing plan is, what events coming up, some of the pictures I have or whatever. And he had questions and say, hey, call me back, let me know. And then he'll send me the end result of what he's kind of thinking. And then we move from there. That's a monthly thing. That is structured. And that is even for one person business. You need to know this. And they love to see that you already have it planned out. Business management, part two. Okay. Now, this is part two into architecting a successful business organization and management. So we're on management. We got about 10 more minutes of this broadcast, guys. I know it's a little heavy, but we're almost done. Business management and a engine for action. One, key functions to have an effective management plan is one, planning, setting goals, developing strategies, outlines, and steps needed to achieve them. This includes short-term technical plans and long-term strategic plans. Another important is, again, the organization, allocating resources, delegating tasks, coordinating activities in a timely manner. You're an event planner. You need to get the food there. You need to have everything decorated. You want to deal with someone who's not going to charge you an arm and a leg. You're not doing that last minute. You got your lines up. This person not available. You got this. Does that make sense? That's the structure of your business. People get loans for party planning. Because they need to get the capital before they get paid. If they have an amazing following and a lot of people who have, or people who have worked with them, they are people who get business loans to scale up their business. Okay? So always motivate your employees, the people that you're dealing with, and your customers. So find innovative ways to motivate your client base and the people that work with you, because this is very important to business management and engaging for action. You want to fuel them up. I told you I'm giving y'all a little bit thing to butter up. Even when I tell people when y'all call in the county, y'all gotta be a little nice because y'all gonna be investing in their county through the sheriff sale, tax lien sale, and you're part of their community. You wanna, butter them up a little bit. All right. So now the next thing I want y'all to understand that this thing has to be a synergy. What is that? That's where the structure feng shui together. That's why we put the little pieces together one by one and we connect them. Organization and management are not separate entities. They are deeply entwined and mutual reinforced. A brilliant management team will struggle within a poorly organized structure. You could be smart, you could have a bachelor degree, all types of stuff. Paying somebody $40,000, $50,000. If you don't have no structure, you're not talking to them, they don't know what you want, you don't have your expectations, your $40,000, $50,000 is going down the hole. Does that make sense? So a perfectly organized structure will remain strategic without effective management if you don't develop an adaptable and changeable plan and inspire people. So remember, your plan won't be structured correctly or be, how can I say, energized without having the right assets around you. That's the people. And you treat your assets correctly. So getting started, practical steps for your business plan. You want to start simple, stay flexible. Do not over engineer your initial plans. Don't just spend all your money. You take your time. Document everything. We already documented everything because we save pennies, every penny we have just to invest in our product. We 6 months down the line of budgeted and savings. So you know you've been writing. So here you go. Document everything, communicate. What I just talked about. Delegate effectively. Just because the person say they got a bachelor's degree, do they deserve the position, or is it going to get done? And how you're following up to make sure they're accountable. Regular review and adaptivity is the last part. Your organization and management practice aren't set in stone. Periodically assess what works and what is not working. Don't be upset if something is not working. Nothing is perfect. You can always mutate it and make it into something beautiful or better. Okay, so the conclusion is to create a robust business involving more than just a great idea and hard work. It requires initial designing and structurizing a continuous guided plan. By thoughtfully constructing your business organization and delegating the practices effectively and you being accountable, because if you delegate it to yourself, you gotta make sure you're accountable. You lay the foundations for sustainable growth of an operation that will and can be successful, strive for excellence, and ultimately lead you to build great partnerships and acquire more than assets, acquire an amazing loan. All right. So with that goes to say, I think we got to the end with 8 minutes on the clock. You let me know if you have any questions. Again, next week we're going to be moving into, I think we're going to do market strategies and then evaluating our competition because we want to talk about product, making our product, and then looking at our competition website, those types of things. And we'll take it from there. So hold on 1 second. I want to say thank you so much for being with Miss Grace today. It's been amazing. Thank you guys for showing up. Shout out to the Prime Time Homebuyer team, Facebook group. Shout out to Secure Your Energy Facebook page, YouTube page. Thank you for being here. And I'll see you guys Wednesday next week at 2 p.m. All right? Economic Development for Leaders. All right. Let's get it. That thing needs to be charged too.